colossal structure of rock and steel, inanimate objects, giving life to sea creatures that big business has nearly wiped out. This is a story of David versus Goliath, where Goliath is coming out on top. Ravi used to be a fisherman. For centuries, it's been the way of life for villagers along the coast of Pondicherry. But these days, only a few practice the traditional sustainable method.
கடல் வளம் இருக்க ரொம்ப கம்மியாக போகுது. அப்படி இருந்தும் இந்த சுருக்கால மினி சுருக்கால வந்ததுலேருந்து எல்லாமே அவங்கள பிடிச்சிடறாங்க. செத்திலி யாரா எல்லாமே அவங்கள பிடிச்சிடறாங்க. நாங்கள் கொண்டு வேலை போட்டால் கூட எங்களுக்கு அதிகமாக ஆட மாட்டேங்க. இன்னும் 150 விற்கிது, அதை வச்சு என்ன செய்யுது? ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்படுறோம் நாங்கள் எங்கள் வில்லேஜ் பூரா.
Big boats with big nets that scrape the bottom of the sea. They yield big catches for their owners, catching hundreds of fish in one go. But the little man is losing out.
வருமானம் கம்மியாக இருக்குது. அதுக்கு என்ன செய்யணும் தெரியல, வேறு வேலை பார்க்கலான்னு இருக்கிறோம். வேறு வேலை கிடைச்சா கூட நாங்கள் இந்த தொழில் போகிறது வேஸ்ட்டு. எல்லாம் அவங்களே மீன் பிடிச்சிட்றாங்க. நாங்கள் வேறு வேலை எதனா கிடைச்சா போகலான்னு இருக்கிறோம்.
Ravi now works for a dive center, taking tourists from around the world to explore what lies beneath. Problem is, Goliath has taken much of that away too.
I would suggest that it's not then. You must use the red stripe because it's a much higher density iron.
Rob Partridge is Ravi's boss.
So a lot of the places that we go diving, it actually is like a desert. It's just an expanse of sand with nothing living on it.
While catching the fish, the trawler's nets have inadvertently but irrevocably damaged precious coral on the seafloor. The World Wildlife Fund says once destroyed, it could take decades, even centuries for the coral to recover. Some underwater species have already become extinct.
நானும் வேலைக்கு போனேன். ட்ரைவர் சென்டரில் வேலை செய்கிறேன். போட்டு கேப்டனாக இருக்கிறேன். நல்ல மாதிரியாக தான் இருக்கிறேன் நான். அங்கேயும் கடலுக்கு போனால் கொஞ்சம் பிரச்சனையாக இருக்குது.
But people like Partridge and Ravi aren't ready to concede. They are seeking to reverse the effects of the trawler's destruction. Something as simple as placing a few leaves into water, Partridge explains, can make a massive difference.
We noticed that this coastline, because about 99% of it is a sandy bottom, the fishermen themselves would create their own soft artificial reefs using trees and rocks and natural things from land they throw into the sea. And you can take a stick and put it in the sea today, and tomorrow some fish will be living nearby and calling that home.
In theory, it's a simple enough solution. Under Indian law, trawlers are only allowed to fish 4.5 kilometers offshore where the water is deeper. So these simple underwater reefs should be able to thrive. But Partridge says companies often do not obey the laws and trawl closer to shore. Without proper enforcement of regulations, many of his efforts have been for naught.
We've had various artificial reef sites or FADs up till this point, and we always knew how easy it was to create something that attracted fish. When we would dive there, knowing where our site was, after a trawler has come through and there's nothing left and there's just a smashed garbage dump on the bottom of the ocean, it's very saddening, and I've literally cried in my mask underwater seeing what happens.
But the local government tells a different story and puts the onus on the divers like Partridge who build underwater reefs.
So far we have not come across such type of conflict between the those person who are using the twigs and with other mechanized trawlers, because they will somehow they will know that they have put up the twigs and they will divert their path and they will go. Only thing, if they are not aware about that presence, then only the problem comes. No one will go purposely hindering the.
The fishing industry in this state is estimated to be worth nearly $1 million a year, but the government is aware of the damage large-scale fishing has caused. Since 2001, it's imposed a 90-day annual ban on trawlers from mid-April to the end of May to coincide with the fish spawning season. But when the ban is lifted, the cycle starts again.
Table on board that you
Wanting to save the underwater ecosystem, Partridge and his team of divers had to think big. They came up with Temple Reef.
Temple Reef is a dive site which we built 4 kilometres off the coast of Pondicherry. It's in 18 metres of water, and we used about 6 tonnes of rocks to hold it down onto the seabed. The area prior to us installing the reef was barren and sand. We noticed an immediate increase in the life that was at the reef. From day one, fish and eels moved in. After that, a lot of the rays and invertebrates came. So within a week, it was a ecosystem of its own, really.
The artificial reef stretches 6 meters in diameter. All the materials tied tightly together with rope to keep them anchored onto the seafloor. Building it was by no means easy.
We first built the iron structure, which came in 6 pieces. They were individually taken out to the sea and placed on the bottom and then secured together. During this process was when the weight was added in various forms, again taken to the sea but secured together on the bottom. Round about 20 trips out to the ocean, and I think 4 or 5 personnel on each boat. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of work, of course.
The reef still suffers damage from the trawlers, but unlike the simple ones in the past, Temple Reef for the most part can withstand it. Seeing the results, work has been rewarding for Partridge and Ravi.
Every time you go down, you can see what you created, and they're like, I guess you're family.
Their ultimate dream is that one day the fishing trawlers will disappear and that the marine life will thrive all across the seafloor. But then reality checks in. And so long as Goliath trolls these waters for fish, David is doing what he can to conserve. For Assignment Asia, I'm Jyothy Karat in the waters of Pondicherry, India.